Thank you very much for these minutes. I just want to start with a general question to Mr. Stone. The film captures the complexity of the drug trade in a way that not many films do. It captures the fact that it's a thing that crosses the border. There's no good and bad. I mean, it's a very complex movie. Can you?
It's got a complex cat and mouse plot where there's 7, 8 characters running around and they're all betraying each other, changing position. John's in the middle as a DEA agent. But the secret of the movie is simply, if you look at the map we show, there's an animated map, and you see a border that runs for 2,000 miles from Texas through California. It's a huge border. That's the secret to the drug war. That's where the money is.
It's a movie that's not based on stereotypes, which is also very rare in this sort of movies.
Well, there's a wonderful book by Don Winslow, and we researched it. He met with a real DEA agent and spent time with him. And also we talked to a lot of people in the cartel who've been in the cartel, who've been in jail, all that stuff.
How did you prepare for this role? I mean, you talked to several DEA agents, I know. What sort of conversations did you have with them?
Well, that's the question. Is the conversations I had are what led me to to the key to the character, because this particular character is so duplicitous and has to always be frightened for his life. And if he doesn't say or do the right thing, he could be caught at what he's doing. That's in the government, and that's with the young guys. That's with the cartel. He's dancing on a cliff, that's how I saw him. And when I met this one guy in particular, who was undercover in the Middle East, and he would make friends with families and then betray the whole family within a month, and they'd fall in love with him, he'd fall in love with them. I said, how do you live with yourself with this kind of behavior? And when he said that that's just his job and what he was committed to do, I realized I had to commit to this duplicitous thinking and this risk-taking style of life in order to portray this character correctly. But it also is very funny, because it's almost the relief in the movie is when Dennis comes on, he's so he's so outrageous in his playing every side that it's almost humorous.
What was the most challenging thing for you, to try to balance exactly this, the humorous part with the very dangerous part of the character, with the family man?
This DEA guy had to say, he said to me, you have to be the best actor in the world to survive being an undercover DEA agent at this level.
Sure.
He said, you have to lie with your eyes and your face at every given moment in order to survive it. And that's what the key was to. I said, okay, I just have to be this layman who is an actor, and that's what most PIs and undercover guys are, just good actors usually,
The American people is usually very conscious about what they buy. I mean, they worry about the iPads, they worry about the Chinese workers, they worry about the Nike workers in Thailand. Why do you think there's not as much conscious about the people in Mexico, the people that are suffering from the drug trade in Mexico? How can you explain that?
Because they're consumers and they want to get their product, and they want to smoke marijuana or inhale cocaine or heroin, or they just want it, and they don't care where it comes from, Afghanistan or Asia or Mexico.
They don't want to. They don't want to.
Need money, so it's an underground economy, but it's huge. It's bigger than oil and tourism, I believe, and the numbers are big. But also the whole economy of Mexico, it would collapse without the drugs, without the drug war and the inflated price.
There's this big debate going on right now about this decriminalization or legalization of drugs. Do you see that debate being done in the U.S. as well?
No, not at the same level. It goes on, yes. Obama has talked about it. He's talked about treating criminals as patients and medically, which makes sense. Getting the people out of jail where they're taking up half the prison space in federal prison. So the war is a huge waste of money. It's a war for money, huge. And it's cost us over the last 40 years something like $500 billion just to prosecute the war. And it hasn't led to one difference of change at all. In fact, there's more drugs, better quality, at a cheaper price. So it's the most ridiculous war.
It's the worst case scenario.
Iraq and Afghanistan put together.
So, John, this is
In fact, it's
also
worse than Vietnam.
this is also a love story. It's a beautiful love story in a way.
Yes.
What can you tell us about it?
Well, my theory on it was one of my favorite parts of the script was the love story that everyone has going. I mean, my saying with this film is, how savage will you get for the people you love? So my character loves his kids and loves his wife. The boys love this woman, this young woman, this gorgeous person, and they're all in love with each other, and they'll do anything they'll go savage for each other. Mm-hmm. And everyone, even Selma's character, the only one she has left to love is her daughter, so she'll do anything for her. So the romance through this is it's at a new level if you think about it. I've never seen a movie that goes this far mm-hmm. for a romantic notion.
Mm-hmm. Savage, yeah.
It's yeah. So I'm very fond of it, and
it's tender. I mean, it has tender feelings about it. These are people. They made it. They're, as you said, ambiguous. Everyone in this war has been still a human being that has feelings.
And
he's got a wife. He's got a dying wife and 2 children in the movie.
And it's also humorous, I mean, there's some points in the film that you just can't help but laugh.
And Salma, I think it makes me laugh.
Yeah,
Salma's a dark one.
Yeah.
She's a hot chili pepper in a blue dress, actually. But the scenes with Benicio, they really click together, these two.
Sorry.
No. I was just saying, Benicio and I are very similar actors, meaning, Oliver had to discover our style because we kind of feel out the emotion, the geography first, and then we start adding the dialogue as we discover it. And finally, Oliver said, I get it now. The two of you have this style working, and now I understand it. And then we all start to click, and I think by the time we finished that big set piece, that scene, we're all in the same station.
How was it to work with each other? I mean,
for me, it was a thrill. I'd never worked with John. I saw him in Saturday Night Fever in 1978, so I know it was from afar. We never had a chance, and this was the right role. I went right for him. He had not been working for a while. He'd stopped working when the death of his son, so he was in a new, fresh place. He wanted to start over and be. That's the way John is. He comes from just reinvents himself. He likes that, and I can't blame him. I feel the same way about life.
Yeah, we are simpatico in that way, because I've always felt that Oliver and I have parallel careers in that we've always done topical, innovative, and trend concepts, mm-hmm. where we're keeping up with society or maybe even one step ahead of what's going to happen. And I think we're the only two, director-actor duo that actually live parallel universes.
Hadn't worked before.
And to some degree, if you analyze it. So I was always attracted to Oliver's filmmaking and writing because of that. Because that's those are my instincts as well. Cutting edge stuff.